Police Department. This critical incident briefing is intended to provide you with information about an officer-involved shooting that occurred in Spring Creek neighborhood during the morning of July 27, 2020. You're about to see a presentation that includes relevant video footage, audio recordings, photographs, and descriptions of the events that occurred before the officer-involved shooting. Our hope is that this presentation will give you an understanding of what occurred during this incident. When a police officer uses force to arrest a suspect or defend against an attack, it can be graphic and difficult to watch. This presentation may be disturbing to some people. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm Lieutenant James Semester, Public Information Officer for the Carmel Police Department. On July 27, 2020, shortly after 8 o'clock a.m., the Carmel Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting that her daughter's boyfriend was suicidal and armed with a gun. The boyfriend was later identified as Julio Varula. The 911 caller and her daughter, Taylor Cox, were outside of a home on River Rock Court with Mr. Varula at the time of the call. During the call, Mr. Varula took the 911 caller's phone from her, leaving an open line. Mr. Varula shot Ms. Cox multiple times. He then shot the 911 caller twice. She fled the area to seek help. Mr. Varula then returned to Ms. Cox, who was wounded and laying in the yard. He stood over her and shot her several more times at close range, killing her. You will now hear portions of the 911 call.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
River Rock Court.
Okay, can you repeat the addresses for verification, please?
One's Carmel. He's shooting himself. River Rock Court. Carmel, hurry, please.
Okay, stand
He's got a gun.
Okay, stand.
Emergency number 911.
Babe! You stupid! Stop! Stop!
You called 911.
Sir.
You still alive here?
Sir.
Your mom called the cops. I told her not to. Now you're dead, bitch. Now you're dead, bitch.
Prior to the first officer's arrival, Mr. Varula fled into the home where the disturbance began. Officers arrived in the area and started searching for Mr. Varula.
Carmel Edward, start for a disturbance threatening suicide. River Rock Court. River Rock Court. There's a male threatening to kill himself. He does have a 1032. Getting a lot of trouble getting any information. Further, the call taker advised that there was a lot of screaming in the background. The male took the caller's phone from her. You could hear him yelling at her. His name was Julio, referenced by the female. Possible shots fired. We got a second caller that advised of gunshots also. We're getting multiple calls reporting gunshots fired.
Are they claiming the gunshots came from inside or outside, you know?
Still trying to get it. We're hearing the male say, "Are you still alive?"
New marriage on River Rock Court.
We heard 5 more gunshots and screaming. Male is in a yellow shirt, a man bun, black skinny jeans in the backyard of River Rock Court. There's going to be a female running eastbound on Creek Bend Court yelling for help.
Do we have any callers with eyes on the suspect?
Nobody's advising that their callers have eyes on the suspect. We do still have an open line with the initial caller suspect victim. Someone's advising that they believe he shot the mother and the daughter. Appears to be a handgun, 9mm.
Okay, I've got a neighbor saying that there's a female down. Stand by.
Clear.
What the suspect is at this.
Clear. I know where suspect is.
I've got a female down on the east side of the residence, wearing all black. I can't approach. She's in the open.
Female down on the east side.
Unresponsive, not answering. Please.
Clear, unresponsive.
gunshot victim at Creek Band, a female sitting on the porch, shot in the chest.
Several other 911 callers from neighboring properties reported that they saw Mr. Varula hiding in tall grass near a retention pond behind a house on River Rock Court. They told dispatchers that Mr. Varula was wearing a yellow shirt and black pants. 2 callers reported that they saw Mr. Varula place a gun in his pants.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Well, I'm at Rippling Brook Way in Carmel, and there's been a shooting in the neighborhood, and I saw a man run down to the lake behind the house in a yellow shirt.
Okay, can you give me whatever description you can of him? What's his race?
I really don't know. I think he was a white male with a yellow shirt and pants. He's behind the trees, and he ran from the house. There's police out in front of the house right now.
We've got several in the area. Where exactly did you see him last?
Here he is. He's coming. He's down at the lake behind the tree. He put a gun in his pocket or in his pants.
Okay.
He's walking away from the house.
Listen, sir, make sure all of your doors are locked. Keep everyone inside.
I'm telling you now where he's running.
Okay, tell me.
He's on the other side. Now he's over going to Rippling Brook Way. He's in between Rippling Brook Way and the neighborhood, and he's going over. He's probably on Rippling Brook Way right now.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
Yes, I'm calling. There's a disturbance, and there are police on property at a disturbance in Carmel off of 146th Street. I'm not sure the name of the street is behind us. We're on Rippling Brook, but a gentleman ran out of the house in question in a yellow shirt and is hiding down in the bushes by the pond. If you could let the officers on site know that, please. He's got a yellow shirt. He was carrying something in his hand, might have been a weapon, but he's hiding in the bushes down by the pond behind the house. Okay, he's running out of the house. He does have a weapon in his hand. He's putting it in his pants.
Officer Shane Van Adder saw Mr. Varula and chased him towards Rippling Brook Way. As Officer Van Adder closed in, Mr. Varula pulled a gun from his pants and turned towards Officer Van Adder. Officer Van Adder ordered Mr. Varula to drop the gun. Mr. Varula did not comply. Officer Van Adder shot Mr. Varula, which ended the threat. Officer Van Adder and Mr. Varula were both moving at the time of the shooting. It should be noted that Officer Van Adder's rifle struck his body camera, causing it to rotate. The video appears to be upside down. As he chased Mr. Varula, Officer Van Adder's body camera fell to the ground. The body camera continued to record, capturing audio of the incident. You will now see Officer Van Adder's body camera footage and an illustration of his movements.
Clearville traffic. The male has run into the ductwork of the retention pond behind the address.
Officer Van Adder was not injured by any gunfire, and there were no injuries to other community members or officers. Mr. Varula was pronounced deceased at the scene. Officers found a loaded handgun several feet from where Mr. Varula was laying. An additional magazine was found in Mr. Varula's front pants pocket. Ballistic testing results are pending. However, the ammunition type and manufacturer found in the gun near Mr. Varula matched the type of ammunition recovered on River Rock Court. Detectives determined that Mr. Varula had reloaded his gun after killing Ms. Cox and wounding the original 911 caller. This is a clear indication that Mr. Varula intended to inflict more harm on others, the extent of which we will never know. Earlier in the morning of July 27th at approximately 2 a.m., dispatch received an anonymous call from a person who was concerned about the welfare of Ms. Cox. Officers responded to the River Rock Court address to check on her, but she was not at the residence. Officers were not able to make contact with her. The Carmel Police Department is working closely with our body camera provider to identify and deploy a more robust mounting system.
There were two separate investigations related to this incident, a criminal investigation and an internal investigation. Carmel Police Department's Criminal Investigations Unit conducted a thorough criminal investigation into the officer-involved shooting and the circumstances that led to it. The completed investigation was submitted to the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office for review to determine if there were any violations of law. The internal investigation determines if the officer's actions met the high standards we hold for all our employees and to ensure the officers acted in accordance with department policy. This investigation found that Officer Van Adder acted within policy. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. We hope that you have gained some insight about the events that led to this officer-involved shooting. While we hope that we will never have to use deadly force, it is sometimes necessary. Officer Van Adder's quick and decisive actions undoubtedly saved lives.